Well, this video is going to be filled with all sorts of inconvenient facts. A video that almost certainly will put this channel at risk. And I'm going to make it anyway because I am fatigued. I am tired. I am tired of the excuses. I'm tired of dancing around the facts. I'm tired of pretending that everybody doesn't know what the problem is. Okay? Yes. Hashtag not all. Okay? Get that out of the way. And yes, there are people of all colors, shapes, and sizes that commit terrible acts and deserve prison no differently than this particular group. But the fact of the matter is, according to the statistics, according to every reasonable person out there, these people hate you. They don't care about your life. They will take it over nothing. They will take it over simply feeling disrespected. They will take it over $7 in your wallet. They will take it for fun. It is a group of people that is continually protected by their own. Young, male, black offenders. Arguably super predators, representing about 5% of the entire United States population, yet representing the overwhelming majority of crimes in which people's lives are extinguished. I'm tired of pretending like this community isn't out of control, and our government needs to do something. What's the answer? Police. We need more police, and we need judges removed from their positions and held accountable for releasing these people. We need governors, leadership that isn't more interested in protecting the feelings of the criminal than the lives of the victims. This video will be full of irrefutable facts. So if places like YouTube take it down, you know where to find it. My name's Jeremy Hambley. This is the Jeremy Hambley channel. It's a brand new channel. I hope that you'll subscribe right now because this is where I get off the fence. These people hate you. I'm talking about young African-American men. As a percentage, black folks represent about 13% of the population. Everyone's heard that. But it's not black women that are taking lives. It's black men. In fact, there are more black women than black men. So with 48% to 53%, I think we can safely say they represent less than half of the 13%, which means we're talking about 5 to 6% of the entire population committing the overwhelming majority of crimes in which lives are lost, the overwhelming majority of crimes in which great bodily harm are done. Just 5% of the population. And I'm not even talking about per capita, which we will talk about in this video. A phrase that is kryptonite to places like CNN, MSNBC, Democrat leadership. I hope that most black folks think that this stuff is heinous that I'm going to talk about in this video. But the fact of the matter is a lot of them don't. How about this YouTuber, The Amazing Lucas?
I will say, I talked to 99.9% of black people about this story, about what transpired. And it's horrible. I think we all agree on that. And they wanted me to give a message. And on behalf of 99.9% of black people, I'm here to talk to the white ignorants out there and let y'all know we are deeply uncaring. That is correct. We don't care, bruh. I'm sorry. We don't give not an ounce of caring about what happened to this girl on the train.
100% true. I never doubted that. I didn't doubt that for a second. I know you don't care. Because you post memes, you're posting memes about it. Haha, we're even for George now. Yeah, drug addicts taking a speedball and overdosing is the same as some young girl sitting on a train minding her own business. That's the same thing. Everybody knows it's the same thing. Our own government is lying to us about this group of people. The only data I can find is from 2019. And in this video, by the way, I am calling on unequivocally Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to not only update the crime statistics by race, but to fix a very clear systemic issue of purposely miscategorizing criminals. Bet you didn't know this was happening. So first of all, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, by the end of the month, I want updated crime statistics by race. I believe it is far worse than anyone could have imagined. The damage inflicted on other people by young black men is far worse than you could have imagined. We already know you're 30 times more likely to be attacked by a black man. We already know that. We already know that they represent, 6% of the population, but over 50% of the life-taking crimes. We know that. That's not up for debate. But how much worse do you think it is? Here is just a smattering of mugshots of people who are obviously not white, but all in the prison system as white. Imagine how bad it really is. Thomas Willie Lee, white. Laube Innocent, white. Jimmy Lee Clark, white. Brian L. Lampkin, white. In the prison system is white. Here's another 30 of them. There are probably thousands of people in the prison system listed as white. Why do you think that is? Do you think that's just a simple clerical error? No, it's not. They're purposely entered in the system incorrectly to skew the crime numbers because they are far worse than anyone could imagine. All these, by the way, black men for the most part. Here looks to be a Filipino woman, but it's mostly black men who are entered into the system as white. Now, maybe it's true that there's a bunch of white people entered the system as black, but I doubt it. I'm also calling on Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to look into this and complete a full audit. It would take about a week to have somebody in every prison marking down the appropriate race of everybody in there and then share those statistics. It is far worse than you ever could have imagined. Ever. Let's play a game. Let's play a equal parts game. By the way, sorry, I have the wrong channel thing up here. Let me fix that. Let's play a game. Let's say that the population were equal. 197 black people and 197 white people. Okay, these are scaled homicide numbers. Total homicides in 50, if we were even in the population, would be 28,054 committed by the black community to 8,800 committed by the white community. Now, neither of those numbers are anything to write home about. White people shouldn't be taking lives either. But this shows that they are roughly 4 times more likely to take a life. The black on white crimes would be 4,205 to 5,611. But the white on black crimes of similar would be about 750 to 800. Rates per 100,000. Total taking of life, black folks 14.3, white folks 4.4, sorry. This is sources the FBI UCR crime data export. Okay. The taking of life, black on white would be 2.14 to 2.85 per 100,000. White on black would be 0.36 to 0.45. When you start looking at this problem, we have young black men taking lives with impunity. And quite frankly, usually it's other black men. Statistically. That's not okay either. I don't think that that's okay. I don't want young black men losing their lives. I want them to be productive members of society. I want them to grow up. I want them to have hopes and dreams, just like anyone else. They are protected by liberal judges. Think about how many times just in recent history you can think of a black liberal judge letting go a killer. Well, how about the man that took the Ukrainian woman's life? He was let free by a black liberal female judge. Carmelo Anthony given reduced bail and, every possible break imaginable pre-trial by a black liberal judge. Now, some stats are unreliable. That's why I'm asking for the FBI to dig into it. I don't want young black men losing their lives either. But they don't care. Their community doesn't care. If their community cared, they'd police it on. They would shame it. They wouldn't uplift gangster behavior. They wouldn't laugh. They wouldn't put out YouTube videos laughing. Here's the infamous Table 43A, the last race data we have that I can find, easily. Let's look at crimes of where somebody's life was lost. Let's look at that, or how about just violent crime? Let's look at that. Okay, total arrests 355,000, 129,000 of that from a community that represents 5 to 6% of the population. How about crimes in which somebody loses their life? Do they even track that on here? I'm looking. Here, murder. Okay, here we go. 7,964. We can call that 8,000 if we want to, round up. Number of those crimes committed by the black community, 4,100, over 50%. And again, I point out, these crimes are not being committed by black women. So it is 5 to 6% of the population is committing 50% of the murders. Why do we think that is? This is going to take generations to fix, and I'm not sure people are going to wait for this. Yes, other races taking each other's lives, also bad, obviously, okay? Needs to get better. But if I'm going to 80-20 this, like the business term, if I'm going to focus on how can I have the biggest impact, it will be by addressing the 5% of the population that's taking 50% of the lives. Fix that, and you reduce countrywide for every American the murder rates by 50%. You only have to focus on 5 to 6% of the population. It seems like that's where I would start. Sure, yes, figure out why, other groups of people are committing this crime too and address it. But let's start there. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop letting our government tell us that, people like Van Jones saying, well, black folks are walking around every day in fear of white folks. Half of that's probably right. But they're not afraid of white folks. Guarantee that. This is a problem that needs to be openly talked about, and I'm going to be committed to doing that, and I'll be doing it twice today. 2 videos on this channel. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.